Illinois governor might be well advised to find new counsel unless this was executive order. Shall be required to cover their nose and mouth. Unlawful use mask. Class 4. Hey, what's going on? This is Instructor Mike. You can follow me on Facebook, Mike Brown Instructor Mike. Follow me on Instagram, Yes Mike Said It. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Instructor Mike. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. Let me give you a tidbit of advice, maybe some information your instructor may not have told you, whatever the case may be, and some information regarding wearing face mask in public. So obviously those of you all who follow me, I'm in the state of Illinois, okay? We have been required to wear face mask as of May 1st, 2020 in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, okay? If you're alive during this time, we're all facing the same thing. It's a worldwide thing, okay? I don't know if you're under the same mandate, but provided that you are, check your laws. It has some provision somewhere that an aggravating factor of using a weapon is covering that face, okay? Anybody who studies the law, knows that to be the case. Except you have to think about the law at the time it was written. We were probably not in that kind of pandemic where it was forced upon us by the government to wear a face mask. So I'm going to read to you a percentage of this argument that is arguing that from a website. I'm not going to say specifically, well, I'll say it, Edgar County Watchdogs. Okay, that's where it came from in Illinois. Okay, by a person, and it was written actually yesterday, that Governor Pritzker might be well advised to find new legal counsel unless this was intentional. It appears his upcoming executive order taking effect May 1st, 2020 does one of two things. One, it strips a gun owner of his rights while complying with the executive order to wear a mask, or it makes them a criminal if they exercise their gun rights while complying with the executive order to wear a mask. Here's the proposed executive order. Quote, wearing a face mask covering in public places or when working. Any individual who is over age 2 and medically able to or able to medically tolerate a face covering or a mask or a cloth face covering shall be required to cover their nose and mouth with a face covering when in a public place and unable to maintain a 6-foot social distance. Okay. So it has certain stipulations in that. Face coverings are required in public indoor spaces such as stores. Now, here's section 24(1)(a)(9) of the Illinois Criminal Code. It's the section entitled Unlawful Use of a Weapon. A person commits the offense of unlawful use of weapons when he knowingly, under section 9, carries or possesses in a vehicle or on or about his or her person any pistol, revolver, stun gun, or taser, or firearm, or ballistic knife when he or she is hooded, robed, or masked in such a manner as to conceal his or her identity. Such a violation makes it a class 4 felony upon conviction, which would subject you to, probation or 1 to 3 years in a state facility in the state of Illinois. Now, here's what the writer of this did not obviously consider. One, the definition of entrapment. Okay? Entrapment. Now, let me tell you, this is not legal advice per se. Okay? I am not an attorney. Okay? My background, if you follow me, I have a master's degree in criminal justice, a former adjunct professor who taught criminal justice in the colleges, okay? And, a former police officer, okay? That having been said, I want you to understand that you carry a firearm not to avoid arrest. You carry a firearm to protect yourself and make sure that there is a higher degree of possibility, not a certainty, but a higher degree of possibility that you can stay and will stay alive, as well as those whom you seek to legally protect, be it family, friends, strangers, whatever. You don't carry a firearm to avoid getting arrested. You don't carry a firearm to avoid any civil penalties. You can do everything right and still be falsely arrested. You can commit a crime and never be arrested. There are no guarantees. That's not why you carry that firearm. So if your instructor didn't tell you that, you just heard it here, okay? Now, The definition of entrapment is any action taken by a person where under their own volition, under their own desire, influence, whatever the case may be, they would not normally do, right? This order subjects you to wearing that mask under executive order. Don't know if you know this, but the police fall under the executive branch of government. You know those three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial? Exactly. So the police and the governor of your state are, while they have kind of separate jobs, so to speak, they are under the same branch of government. They execute the laws that the legislatures put in place. These are legislative actions put in place. Section 24-189 is a legislative action. The governor's order is an executive order. Thus, you wearing the mask is operating or actually doing what the government is telling you, ordering you to do. So if a police officer takes an action pursuant to that order, that is the textbook definition of entrapment. Now, could you still be arrested? Yes. My advice, you'd better comply, because you need to be alive to get that justice that is probably going to happen. Okay? So comply. Don't give them any lip, whatever the case may be, because you can make worse a situation with your ego. Don't do that. Just comply with what they tell you. Make sure your movements are extremely slow, right? And make sure you don't reach for that firearm. Don't use the word gun. Gun is a trigger word for all police officers who train under the stimulus of that word. Say firearm, okay? I have a firearm. It is in a specific location, maybe on my right hip, on my left hip, on my ankle, wherever it is. Keep your hands where they can visibly see them. Let them pull that firearm off of you, okay? And then you need to seek the advice and counsel of a lawyer if you are arrested. And that's the thing. There hasn't been a lot of police action, or maybe there has. I don't know, okay? But this advice is for you to take under consideration. Don't let people who don't understand anything about the law, not even in the remote sense or in the least sense, don't let them influence you in protecting yourself and using your Second Amendment rights. You have that right because you have earned it, because you have a license, right? It's also in the Constitution. We can argue that, okay? But it has been given to you because you have your Illinois concealed carry license or concealed carry license wherever you live. Exercise that right, okay? Exercise it and protect yourself from the novel coronavirus by doing as much as you can, washing your hands, using the hand sanitizer, or, using some kind of, whatever, soap. Use some soap, freaking wash your hands, okay? Nothing's going to replace that. But make sure you have hand sanitizer, put the facial covering on. I mean, we're talking about certain things such as people not even understanding, apparently, we're talking about concealed carry. So how are you carrying your firearm? Are you carrying it where you're broadcasting it? Are you carrying it where it's obvious that you're carrying a firearm? Now, say nothing of the fact that in Chicago, right, Harith Augustus was stopped in the area of 71st and Chappelle or Jeffrey when he had a bulge that exhibited the characteristics of a firearm. Now, if you follow me, you know I was strongly against that kind of stop. Why was I against that kind of stop? Because in a concealed carry state, that does not meet the simple evidentiary requirements of Terry versus Ohio, 392 U.S. 1, which is a 1966 or 68 Supreme Court case during the Warren Court, where the court established the minimal principle of reasonable suspicion, which is, I believe a crime is about to be committed. I have reason to believe, right? There's something I can articulate that a crime has been or is about to be committed. And pursuant to that belief that I have to obviously establish in court, I can pat you down to do a search of any type of weapons, not drugs or anything like that, but it must be evident by what I feel, using the sense of feeling, your touch, right? I'm just telling you, we could go all day, right? What are you doing? Who are you hanging around with? What are you doing that would make the police stop you to even get to that point to have to enforce that law? Besides, there are way more people wearing masks, including the police themselves, right? Do we not think about that? This same law would make the police themselves in violation of it, for there is no exemption stipulated in the law. If you didn't know, police officers even have to have FOID cards at a minimum to be able to even carry a firearm in performance of their duties. Don't be gullible by things that you read, okay? Make sure that you do some research. And you can follow a page just like this for someone who's that type of you-know-what hole to put this information out there, okay? This is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. Follow me on Facebook at Mike Brown or Instructor Mike. Follow me on Instagram at Yes Mike Said It. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Instructor Mike. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. Get your freaking butt in somebody's concealed carry class. It's no one's job to protect you but you. I'll see you.